Can Zakat al-Fitr be paid? When is the time Zakat al-Fitr should be paid? In the beginning of Ramadan, ending of Ramadan?
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Zakat al-Fitr, as we have explained for many years now consecutively in the classes and in the lessons that are all on the channel, and you can find them on the Ramadan and fasting playlist that we made. We made a playlist in which we gathered all of the various lectures, khutbahs, classes, 5 minutes of faedah about fasting, all in one place for your ease and for your convenience. So we explained that in detail in many classes and many lectures. The simple, brief answer right now, right here is that Zakat al-Fitr was commanded to be given out to the poor and the needy before the people go and make the salah, before the prayer, on the day of the Eid. On the day of the Eid. As far as the permissibility of giving it a night or two before the day of the Eid, then that is the view of some of the scholars of al-Islam, based off of the action of Abdullah ibn Umar, the companion, radiyallahu ta'ala anhum. But the Prophet ﷺ's words were for the people to give the zakah before they go to the musalla on the day of the Eid. What is the wisdom? It's a hardship, it's inconvenient, I can't find anyone, so on, and people make millions and millions of excuses instead of trying to implement the simple, basic sunnah. Plan, prioritize, strategize, and most importantly, seek Allah's help and ask Allah to give you the tawfiq to implement the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. If you can't do it, if there is no one that would take grain, so on and so on and so forth, then you go to those things. But we don't start off with other than the default principle. And Allah knows best.
Another question about Zakat.
These are your questions?
No, these are questions that I have
From who?
online.
Name, city, state. If it's coming from a computer screen. Naam Lutfi? Next question. If any brothers have questions here? Fadla, Abu Hussein.
What's the ruling on praying tahajjud sitting down?
What's the ruling on praying tahajjud sitting down? It's permissible, but it's best to stand up if you can. It's best to stand on your feet if you can. It's best to go through some struggle or some type of pain or some type of challenge. You challenge your nafs to stand on your feet. That's the best thing to do. As far as if you wish to pray sitting down, there's nothing wrong with that. It isn't a mandatory prayer. And as we all well know, that you'll get half of the reward. But the best thing to do is to actually do qiyam. And Allah knows best. Fadl.
What is the ruling regarding entering a masjid, the adhan is being given, and performing 2 rakat tahiyatul masjid while the adhan is being given?
Question says the ruling on making tahiyatul masjid while the adhan is being given. If it isn't the day of Jumu'ah, if it isn't Friday, then perhaps there's nothing wrong with you standing and waiting for the mu'adhin to finish his adhan. Repeat after him, implement the sunnah of repeating after the mu'adhin, get the blessings and prayers upon the Prophet ﷺ, then you make it 2 rak'ah. As far as if it's the day of Jumu'ah, then there's a very common and widespread mistake that many people they make and they do. They stand and they'll listen to the mu'adhin, and the mu'adhin's adhan is good 5 minutes long, maybe 6 minutes long. Or some countries there are 2 or 3 adhans back to back to back to back. They make 2, 3, 4, 5 adhans right back to back. And then when the imam starts the khutbah, then they start praying. That's wrong. The obligation of listening to the khutbah takes precedence over repeating after the mu'adhin. So if you come in the masjid on Jumu'ah and the mu'adhin is making the adhan, then you should pray immediately and sit down and listen to the khutbah immediately. And the 2 rak'ah that you make should be short, brief, and quick. They should not be long rak'at, and you should not wait and listen to the mu'adhin if it's Jumu'ah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala surely knows best.
Ramadan's coming to a close. What are some of the don'ts that you should do?
with regards to Ramadan coming to a close, what are some of the don'ts? Don't quit, don't give up. The struggle that you started, the campaign that you made against your nafs. Bi-idhnillahi subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah gave you some momentum. Now you need to use that momentum and continue to turn the tide against your nafs. You're almost there, or you're halfway there, or 3/4 there. Like you're arm wrestling somebody. The moment you move your elbow a little bit, bang. You got to keep moving, keep grinding until you slam your nafs. With regards to smoking, with regards to drinking, with regards to fornicating, with regards to talking back to your mother, with regards to stealing from your father, any sin that you make outside of Ramadan. So the biggest don't is not to stop the jihad. Don't quit. You're just in the beginning now. And Ramadan is nothing more than a training camp. The training camp prepares a soldier, but it doesn't make a soldier. A soldier is only made through experience in battle. Everybody clear on this? Just like the Islamic University of Medina, they would tell you when you graduate, they give you your certificate. They say this is just the beginning. We don't make you a scholar. You have to become a scholar yourself by learning and studying and reading and teaching and continue to develop. Then now you're on the pathway. So that's just the beginning. So the first thing is do not stop fighting your nafs. The next piece of advice after the month of Ramadan, don't become a stranger to the masjid again. The masjid is a safe haven for the believer. And you learn so much and you benefit from so much just by being in the masjid. And it doesn't just have to be a spiritual benefit. You can get worldly benefit from being in the masjid. Not saying that that's your purpose or that's your intention, but I'm trying to show you the beauty of the masjid and the barakah of the masjid. How many brothers you know who pray consistently, who go to classes, who go to Jumu'ah in the masjid, that are known in the masjid, that don't have jobs? That don't have jobs. How many do you know? Consistently, I said. And not just pop up and go, but people that are in the masjid every day, that can't get married, that don't have a class, that don't have this, that need something, that need help. Because the people, they know this brother, they see this brother, they're around this brother. And the moment they don't see him, a day or two, say, what's wrong with Fulan? Where's he at? So the masjid is a safe haven for the believer. The masjid is a benefit for the believer. The masjid is a place which is the foundation of your deen. And that's why the Prophet said he built the masjid in Medina. That was the first thing on his priority list, is to establish the masjid. Everybody clear this or not? So don't familiarize yourself with the masjid for 30 days and then just whoosh, vanish, gone. No one sees you. Don't do that. Those are two pieces of advice that I would give right now. Last but not least is to continue to read the Quran. Continue to listen to the Quran. Continue to familiarize yourself with the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala throughout the entire year. And that's how you get the true benefit from the Quran. The Quran is a book which deserves more than just 29 days of reading, 29 days of reflection. It's something 365 days out of the year, if the year is that long. And Allah knows best. That's in brief.
Okay, when you make dua, you have to raise your hand or you could?
Question says, when you make dua, do you have to raise your hands? No, you don't have to. It's a recommended act. It's a good thing to do. And perhaps bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, it's a means of your dua having a higher percentage of being accepted. But if you made dua lying down, sitting down, if you made dua when you were half asleep, if you made dua with your heart and your mind, that's praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as well. But the best thing to do is to make wudu, face the qibla, raise your hands. You start off by praising Allah, lauding Allah, declaring Allah's oneness, asking Allah to forgive you, sending prayers upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then you start with your dua. But it's not mandatory. Fadal.
When should we pay zakat, regular zakat?
Question says, when should a person pay regular zakat? As well, there's several playlists on that, or lectures we've done on zakat in detail, workshops we've done on detail of zakat. In general, you pay zakat when it's due, as soon as the zakat is due. If the zakat is savings, wealth that's put up, then it's after 12 months. As far as if the zakat is pertaining to livestock or merchandise or jewelry, the ulama who say that you have to pay zakat on a woman's jewelry, the difference of opinion on that, then it's going to be based off of when it's time to pay those things. But money that's being saved, which is the average Muslim zakat in 2018 in an inner urban city. I know there's some brothers who may have farms. Many brothers have businesses. But the average working person, the zakat that he or she is going to pay is the zakat that's saved up. The money that you save up. That is to be paid when it is due after 12 months. That exceeds your daily food, your daily bread, your daily gas, electric, your daily rent, your daily metro pass, whatever you need on your daily basis. The money that's up for those 12 months, and it reaches a minimum, then that is going to be paid after 12 months of having it. As far as other types of zakat, such as zakat on livestock, you have a farm, you have 50 sheep. I have 2 bulls. I have a buffalo, and I have a camel maybe, or bison. That's a different story. Merchandise in your store, that's a what? وهكذا, So the money that you save is going to be paid when it's due. As far as is it permissible to pay zakat at a later time or the earlier time, it may be a need that the Muslims may have. But that's not the default ruling. As far as paying zakat in Ramadan, it's not mandatory to pay it in Ramadan. Many Muslims, they choose to do it in Ramadan because it's a blessed time. Rewards are more. Blessings are more. The Muslims are more plentiful. But it isn't something which is a specific sunnah that you have to do it in Ramadan. You can pay it whenever it's due. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best.
Initial from online. Initials OM. Famagusta, GRNC, Cyprus, Islands of Cyprus. Assalamu alaikum Mufti. What is the proper way of asking a potential spouse's aqidah at a sit-down? In the place you come from, the label Sunni could mean many different things.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. With regards to asking your potential spouse about her aqidah, what she believes as a Muslim, and where you come from, the word Sunni has different meanings, etc. It depends on the sister that you're looking to marry. First and foremost, as we said, that when you wish to marry a sister, you should ask Allah firstly and try your hardest to pick from a select group. You shouldn't just try to pick a sister from anywhere, but you should try to look for a sister's hand in marriage that comes from a known background of deen, of character, of good health, of good looks, or whatever the case may be. What you're looking for. Everybody understand this? And you shouldn't just take any random sister in which you have to do all of the investigative detective work yourself, because that leaves room for lying, Harun. That leaves room for deception. That leaves room for you not being smart enough to pick up on it. Whatever the case is. You pick from among something that's select. Everybody clear on this or not? So you shouldn't be sitting down with a sister and trying to marry a sister unless she comes from some type of well-known background. As far as if you don't have that liberty, you don't have the option. There aren't that many Muslim women in Cyprus. Or there's a really nice sister who doesn't come from a good family. Then that's a different story. What's important is the Prophet ﷺ, he tells us, Al-Bay'an bil-khiyar ma lam yatafarraqa. He tells us about buying and selling, and about the buyer and the seller, and the merchants, the giver and the taker. He says, if they're truthful, and if they're open and out with each other, burika lahuma fi bay'ahima. He says, then there's blessing in their contract. So you want to marry your sister, be upfront with her, and ask her things. Be upfront. This is what I believe. This is what I practice. Do you do the same? And if you don't know about this, or you don't practice this, are you willing to learn it? Are you willing to change? I'm Muslim by name. I'm Muslim practicing this bit. This is where I come from. This is my family origin. I don't know no better. We never knew about Aqidah and Sunnah. No problem. But are you willing to learn it? Sure. Bismillah. Welcome aboard. And if she says, no, I want to stick to my cultural Islam, then you say, you have your way. I have my way. Allah is your Lord and Allah is my Lord. It's just that simple. It's just what? It's just that simple. Please go back to the lesson, the lecture, the workshop, seminar that we did on marriage, in which we spoke on how to look for what? A good spouse. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. With regards to the word Sunni, it means several things. Then be upfront. Be upfront. What you mean by the word Sunni? Whatever word you want to use. Sunni, Salafi, Ash'ari, Maturidi, Habashi, whatever Aqidah orientation a person may have. Just be upfront and ask them upfront question. Wallahu alam.
Initials F, last name Ali, London, UK. Assalamu alaikum, ya Sheikh Mufti. From your FMF, Mad Kicks, you have mentioned a hadith from Muslim and Jabir narrated it. I'm having trouble finding the text. Can you please direct me to it?
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Barakallahu feek. With regards to the 5 minutes of fa'idah, the hadith of Jabir ibn Abdullah, استكثروا من النعال فإن الرجل لا يزال راكبا من تعالى أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, you should have a lot of shoes. You should have an abundant amount of footwear. Because as long as a man is wearing something on his feet, then he's riding. He's a rider. Everybody understand this? It's a profound hadith. Very profound hadith that has a deeper meaning than just shoes. Always be prepared. Be rugged. Don't be too soft and too comfortable. Too set back for luxury. Like boots. You have on boots or you have on bare feet. Or you're barefooted. And even when the believer is barefooted, he's still what? Supposed to be ready to what? Ready to do whatever he has to do. So at the end of the day, Bidnai Ta'ala, if you can email me, I'll send you some specific references for the hadith in English and in Arabic. And perhaps it's best for me not to send you anything for you to keep looking yourself. Maybe that's best, How many times have you read Sahih Muslim? How many Muslims have read Sahih Bukhari from cover to cover? Now, this book, we've had it too long now in English. If I ask you guys a question, how many of you have read Sahih Bukhari from cover to cover? How many of us will raise their hand? This is a real question, Harun. This is a serious question. Let alone, I've read Sahih Bukhari 2, 3, 4, 5 times. I've been Muslim 30 years, 40 years. Took my shahada at 96 and this and that. And you haven't read Sahih Bukhari from cover to cover yet. You haven't read Sahih Muslim from cover to cover what? Yet. If I walked into your house or to your library, your personal study, what does your Bukhari look like? Does it have sticky notes popping out over it? Do you have library, Dewey Decimal codes on it? Is it falling apart? Or is it clean and fresh and stuck to the shelf? It's a reality now, guys. We have 50 million books being translated into English. Some of them are good. Some of them are beneficial. Some of them aren't so good and aren't so beneficial. Or the translation isn't so good. But the focus on the Sahihain, which is the foundation of the way of the Salaf al-Salih. That's the Asl, the Sunnah. We need to focus on those books more. Everybody clear on this? We need to what? Focus on those books more. And Allah knows best.
Initials NA from Ottawa. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Hayakullah. A friend swore an oath, saying, Wallahi, that she would drive me home. But in response, I swore that she would not. And that I would be staying at the masjid. I ended up leaving the masjid and getting a ride with someone else. Will we both have to pay a kafara?
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Barakallahu fikum. That which is apparent is that you don't have to pay a kafara. There's no expiation because this is min lamin al-laghu. This is an oath that you make that you don't intend to make an actual oath. But you intend to encourage someone or to deter someone. You say, Wallahi, I'm going to buy it. Wallahi, no, Wallahi, I'm going to pay for the food. Wallahi, la. No, la. Halaft. He says, Wallahi, I'm going to buy you lunch. And then he beats you to the punch and he pulls out, his money in the store. Or he sneaks behind while you're doing something and he pays for the food and comes back and sits down. Everybody clear on this? That's not necessarily an oath in which you have an intention of making an oath with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah knows best. خلاص. صلى الله وسلم وبارك على عبده ورسوله نبينا محمد.